刘培元的英文教室经典演说篇第131集这一集我们来回顾之前41到42集就是曼德拉非常有名的南非的这个黑人国父他出狱的这演说，民主不可逆转 Our march to freedom is irreversible 请分别订阅我的15个 YouTube 频道因为我15个频道，所以可以按15个订阅我们来念一下，一个句子黑字一个句子红句比较好区分，然后动词就用绿色字但是有时候不规则有时候一个句子一个动词，有时候一个句子两个甚至更多的主要动词子句动词不算，有时候没有这比较少，有时候没有，它省略掉。我们来念一下。如果这个因为经典演说都比较难了所以我们这边只是念，因为意思全部前面都讲过。所以你如果意思看不太懂可能表示你前面没看或者忘记了，你就在前面去看一下。My friends, comrades, and fellow South Africans, I greet you all in the name of peace, democracy, and freedom for all. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. Your tireless and heroic sacrifices have made it possible for me to be here today. I therefore place the remaining years of my life in your hands. On this day of my release, I extend my sincere and warmest gratitude to the millions of my compatriots and those in every corner of the globe who have campaigned tirelessly for my release. I extend a special greetings to the people of Cape Town, the city of Tuach, which has been my home for 3 decades. Your mass marches and other forms of struggle have served as a constant source of strength to our political prisoners. I salute the African National Congress. It has fulfilled every expectation in its role as leader of the Great March of Freedom. I salute our President and Comrade Olive Tambo, who leading the ANC even under the most difficult situations. I salute the rank and file members of the ANC. You have sacrificed life and limb in the pursuit of the noble cause of our struggle. I salute the combatants of Umkhonto we, like Solomon Malengu and Ashley Krill, who have paid the ultimate price of freedom of our Southern Africans. I salute the South African Communist Party for its sterling contribution to the struggle for democracy. You have survived 40 years of unrelenting persecution. The memory of great communists like Moses Coutinho, Yusuf Dado, Brand Fisher, and Moses Mahida will be cherished for generations to come. I salute General Secretary Joe Slovo, one of the finest patriots. We are heartened by the fact that the alliance between ourselves and the party remains as strong as yet. It always was. I salute the United Democratic Front, the National Education Crisis Committee, the South African Youth Congress, the Transvaal and Native Indian Congresses, and COSATU, and the many other formations of the mass democratic movement. I also salute the Black Sash and National Union of South African Students. We note with pride that you have luck, that you have acted as the conscience of white South Africa. Even during the darkest days in the history of our struggle, you held the flag of liberty high. The large-scale mass mobilization of the past few years is one of the key factors which led to the opening of the final chapter of our struggle. I extend my greetings to the working class of our country. Your organized strength is the pride of our movement. You remain the most dependable force in the struggle to end exploitation and oppression. I pay tribute to the many religious communities who carried the campaign for justice forward when the organization of people was silenced. I greet the traditional leaders of our country. Many among you continue to walk in the footsteps of great heroes like Hinsat and Sahum. I pay tribute to the endless horizon of youth. You the young lions have energized our entire struggle. I pay tribute to the mothers and wives and sisters of our nation. You are the rock-hard foundation of our struggle. Apartheid has inflicted more pain on you than on anyone else. On this occasion, we thank the world community for their great contribution to the anti-apartheid struggle. Without your support, our struggle would not have reached this advanced stage. The sacrifice of frontline states will be remembered by South Africans forever. My solutions would be incomplete without expressing my deep appreciation for the strength given to me during my long and lonely years in prison by my beloved wife and family. I'm convinced that your pain and suffering was far greater than my own. Before I go any further, I wish to make the point that I intend making only a few preliminary comments at this stage. I'll make a more complete statement only after I have had the opportunity to consult with my comrades. Today, the majority of South Africans, black and white, recognize that apartheid has no future. It is to be ended by our own decisive mass action in order to build a peace and security. The mass campaigns of defiance and other actions of our organizations and people can only culminate in the establishment of democracy. The apartheid destruction on our subcontinent is incalculable. The fabric of family life of millions of my people has been shattered. Millions are homeless, unemployed. Our economy lies in ruins, and our people are embroiled in political strife. Our resort to the armed struggle in 1960 with the formation of the military wing of the ANC, Umkhonto, which is purely defensive action against the violence of apartheid. The factors which necessitated the armed struggle still exist today. We have no option but to continue. We express the hope that a climate conducive to a negotiated settlement will be created soon so that there may no longer be the need for the armed struggle. I'm a loyal and disciplined member of the African National Congress. I'm therefore in full agreement with all of its objectives, strategies, and tactics. The need to unite the people of our country is as important a task now as it always has been. No individual leader is able to take on this enormous task on his own. It is our task as leaders to place our views before our organization and to allow the democratic structures to decide on the way forward. On the question of democratic practice, I feel duty-bound to make the point that the leader of the movement is a person who has been democratically elected at a national conference. This is a principle which must be upheld without any exceptions. Today, I wish to report to you that my talks with the government have been aimed at normalizing the political situation in the country. We have not as yet begun discussing the basic demands of the struggle. I wish to stress that I myself have at no time entered into negotiations about the future of a country, except to insist on a meeting between the ANC and the government. Mr. de Klerk has gone further than any other nationalist president and taking real steps to normalize the situation. However, there are further steps as outlined in the Harare Declaration that have to be met before negotiations on the basic demands of our people can begin. I reiterate our call for, inter alia, the immediate ending of the state emergency and the freeing of all, and not only some, political prisoners. Only such a normalized situation which allows for free political activity can allow us to consult our people in order to obtain a mandate. The people need to be consulted on who will negotiate and on the content of such negotiations. Negotiations cannot take place above the heads or behind the backs of our people. It is our belief that the future of our country can only be determined by a body which is democratically elected on a non-racial basis. Negotiations on the dismantling apartheid will have to address the overwhelming demands of our people for a democratic, non-racial, and unitary South Africa. There must be an end to white monopoly on political power and the fundamental reconstructing of our political and economic system to ensure that the inequalities of apartheid are addressed and our society thoroughly democratized. It must be added that Mr. de Klerk himself is a man of integrity who is acutely aware of the dangers of public figure not honoring his undertakings. But as an organization, we base our policy and strategy on the harsh reality we are faced with. And this reality is that we are still suffering under the policies of nationalist government. Our struggle has reached a decisive moment. We call on our people to seize this moment, so that the process towards democracy is rapid and uninterrupted. We have waited too long for our freedom. We can no longer wait. Now is the time to intensify the struggle of our fronts. To relax our efforts now would be a mistake, which generation to come will not be able to forgive. The sight of freedom looming on the horizon should encourage us to redouble our efforts. It is only through disciplined mass action that our victory can be assured. We call on our white compatriots to join us in the shaping of a new South Africa. The freedom movement is a political home for you too. We call on the international community to continue to campaign to isolate the apartheid regime. To lift sanctions now would be to run the risk of aborting the process towards the complete eradication of apartheid. Our march to freedom is irreversible. We must not allow the fear to stand in our way. Universal suffrage on the common voters' roll is a united democratic and non-racial South Africa is the only way to peace and racial harmony. In conclusion, I wish to go to my own words during my trial in 1964. They are as true today as they were then. I wrote, I fought against white domination. I have fought against the black domination. I have cherished the idea of a democratic and a free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs to be, it is an idea for which I'm prepared to die. 好，我们再回顾到这里啊。我有15个 YouTube 频道，主要是这教英文，主要是12个啊，一字多义啊，正确发音、应用绘画12个啊，这12个都是我的几十年的精髓。研究英文的精髓，各有各的难度跟实用性啊，所以你可以根据你自己的条件啊、程度来选择你先看什么。因为有15个，所以可以按15个订阅，希望大家能懂这个意思，多捧场，尽量按15个。好，这一期回顾到这里。